if you just watched the Deep End Carousel episode, number 3, you need that. You need to recalibrate. Whoo, guys. Oh my God. Got a lot of feels about this episode. I want to address some of the comments that I've gotten from people who have said, I'm very judgmental and that I'm not giving her the benefit of the doubt, or, it's a docuseries and it's Hollywood and they can manipulate footage and they can create their own narrative. And I totally get that. I understand that. But what they cannot do is invent footage. They can't create footage out of thin air. So the things that Teal says and the things that were shown, even if it's just one take or one cut, that's real. And some of the things that she says, a spiritual teacher should never say. Okay, so right out the gate, I'm really, really worried about the impact she has on people and their families, and this belief that she has, that she's trying to convince people that their parents don't love them. And it makes sense, because if we're going along the lines of she's grooming these people for possibly being a part of the inner circle and for so much more, she needs you to consider her your lifeline. She needs you to renounce any ties to the world in order for you to reject your former identity, because she's going to create a new one for you. Not only that, she's going to create new memories. Oh, you didn't realize you were abused? Well, we're going to do this exercise where 2 of my instructors, don't worry, they've got you. They're strong. They're the best there is, are going to inhabit the consciousness of your mother and inhabit the consciousness of your father. And then this person's going to inhabit the consciousness of you as a child. And they're going to do, I don't know, conjuring of some kind of authentic moments in your childhood that you can't remember because you're too traumatized. You repress them. And they're going to act out horrible things that happened to you and remind you of what happened. Oh my God. Are you serious? The sweet girl is sitting there, and they asked the people that inhabited the mother and the father what they remembered. And one woman said, well, I felt like really inappropriate touching happened with this parent and that parent, and maybe the brother was abusive too. I felt that. And it's like, I'm paraphrasing, but, and then this sweet girl goes, no, I'm not recognizing any of this. And they're very tender with her as they whisper in her ear that, it's okay. It's okay. We're here. Just to get her to believe that this shit happened to her. And then she goes on to cry, of course, because she believes everything these people are telling her. And then she says, I just don't want to believe that my family are evil. They're evil. And I'm just like, oh, honey. What I think it is glaringly is obvious that they seek out these seriously vulnerable individuals that have identity crises and have issues with where they belong in this world. And Teal gives them a sense of belonging. Unfortunately, they are tethered to the heaviest anchor, where she invents their past and she invents their future, and that's the way she wants it. She is their lifeline, and that's why so many people have said in the comments, Teal saved my life. And then I go on to ask, great, this is what we've been waiting for. The people who are in disbelief that this woman helps people, we want to hear these stories. So please open up. Tell us how Teal has saved your life. And I'm being genuine. I want to know. I want to hear all different perspectives because I want to remain open. It's just so damn hard, you guys. It's getting really hard. This was never supposed to be about every episode, discrediting what her teachings are or what she does or her as a person. That's not my vibe. I'm not into that. But her being a spiritual teacher, especially when it comes to helping people who are suicidal. My sister committed suicide. So this became very personal. And I thought I was getting into this to connect spiritually and learn things, because even though I'm a spiritual teacher, I am a student. I will always be a student. And that's something that Teal does not connect to. And that's a red flag for me. Oh, God. Gracier. She's another victim of Teal's memory implantation. She's recalling incredible trauma, and she's talking about her father raping her at 4 years old and her mother walking in and then her mother leaving. And that's horrific. I'm not here to say that somebody's experience didn't happen, but later on she goes to say that she recalled a lot of these memories once she joined Teal's inner circle. And then she goes on to say that her mother thinks she's nuts and that she came to Utah and called the cops and tried to get her away from Teal, thinking that she's joined this cult. And my issue there is, and I could absolutely be wrong, but this is just a thought I had, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. If her mother didn't care about her well-being at all when she was 4 years old, is that the same mother that's coming to Utah, going to a different state, bringing the police and trying to save her daughter from who she thinks is brainwashing her? Does that sound like the same person? I don't know. It's not for me. It's just a thought I had. And then we have, it's a lot. And Juliana, this sweet girl, and who knows, they could just be painting her as this really sweet, quiet spoken girl who wants to help people and genuinely wants to help those that are ready to be helped, which seems to be kind of a theme of the episode. She's concerned that she's alluding to the fact that Teal has lost her sense of purpose in her work, and she's so fixated on control. She just thinks Teal has lost her path, and she says that in the kindest, most generous way possible. And I would agree with her based on what we're seeing. Blake is acting very strange throughout this episode. I noticed one time he had his phone and he was looking at houses, and another time he's just very withdrawn this episode and very distraught. And I think either what they're trying to make it seem like is that he's picking up on the bullshit because his new person that he's married to isn't happy, and she's helping him see the real Teal. That's a possibility. We'll probably know in the next episode. Then we're told about the non-disclosure agreement, which is something that as a celebrity personal assistant, I signed that, but it was not at all like this for the inner circle. It's called the non-negotiables. Teal has to come first. I mean, the mission comes first, but really, you can't have any boundaries that will affect Teal in any way. There's no outside travel. There's no outsiders allowed. It's intense. And that's really, listen, I'm not trying to say it's a cult, but if it was a cult, that's what a cult leader would want. They wouldn't want any family members or outside relationships being a reflection of what's going on there, because those people would say, this doesn't sound right. You're depressed. Every person in her inner circle, you don't see a lot of smiles. There's not a lot of dancing and joy. It's very, very serious. And I get shadow work can be draining, but you come into the light every once in a while and you laugh and you have fun, and they're not showing us that. So if that exists within the inner circle, we want to see that too. We want to know that they're not prisoners to their own despair, which is kind of what it feels like. And it kind of feels like that's the way Teal wants it. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. I am totally fine with being wrong. I want to be wrong about this stuff. She is seriously obsessed with fame. She thinks she's this huge celebrity. And yes, she has a name for herself, but there's this level to her that she's so afraid of anybody outside not understanding their life, and your life will never be the same, and you can't trust any outsiders when you're famous. I worked for one of the biggest divas in Hollywood ever, and she was way less paranoid. I mean, she had a degree of paranoia, but I'm just like, let's see. And then we get to another workshop, and there's this sweet young girl who says that Teal is psychic, and when she told her that her parents didn't love her, she believed her because, Teal would know. She knows all. And Teal even later on says in the episode that I can tell these people what their problem is. I know what their problem is. All they have to do is listen to me. That's kind of scary. And it's not for us to tell somebody else what their problem is, but because Teal is a bit controlling, that's the way she likes it. But these people believe anything she says. And this girl goes on to say that she doesn't have anybody in her life, and you see her like trying to kiss her little bird who doesn't want it and flies away. And she calls Teal slightly on her bullshit in front of everybody at the workshop, and everyone's like, oh my God. And she has a little bit of a breakdown because she's like, I can't keep coming to these retreats and getting nothing out of it and feeling like when I'm here, I'm fine. And as soon as I'm gone, I want to commit suicide. And she attempted a few months prior. And Juliana goes up and talks to her. And then they're all in the room talking about how Juliana says, this is, we can't force them. And Teal says something like, well, now you've crossed a line. Of course, I want to force them. I want to do this work for them. That's not gonna be successful, logically speaking. And then Juliana says that this girl says that she's going to commit suicide if she can't get helped. And instead of Teal being concerned about the well-being of this person, this is one of those moments where they can't invent this footage. Teal actually says, they're going to know that she went to a retreat several weeks before she killed herself, and they're going to blame me, and it's going to be in the media, and everyone's going to think it's my fault. And all I want to do is help people. She's not concerned about the actual person who's in pain right now, who came to work with her. She's concerned about her image above all else. And that's just not very spiritual at all. It's not, she uses this word alignment so much. It's definitely not in alignment with wanting to help people. She wants to better her situation. She wants to be more famous. She wants to help everyone. She wants every human being to go through the completion process. Oh my God, don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, you guys. And then the same girl ends up staying, and Teal's every exercise is powerful. If you've heard every episode, and Teal introduces a new exercise, she says, this is very powerful. Great. Okay. Is there an exercise that's fun? Is there an exercise that's easy? Can we lighten the load a little bit on these poor people who just are putting themselves through torture, emotional trauma? Reliving it over and over again is one thing, but when you're inventing it and adding to your existing trauma, no wonder they become suicidal or super depressive. But they do this water exercise where they essentially drown this girl until they let her up from the water, and everyone's like, the drowning scene. I had so many hopes for Teal until the drowning scene. I don't know where the show can go. Maybe the next episode is going to be Teal's a sweetheart and she's cuddling puppies, and all these people are hugging each other and crying and saying that they finally see the light and that they're living better lives and they're joyous. I would love to see that. I want to see joy, because I don't think we can heal through complete darkness. You won't see anything ahead of you, and these people don't. So I want to hear about your guys' thoughts of the episode, and I'm going to keep going with this because I got to see how it plays out. I'm hoping to be surprised. I cannot stress how I am trying to stay open-minded. One more time for the road. Let's just, because my third eye is all warm. And that's healing. That's frequency. All right, you guys. And just so you know, this channel is supposed to be about healing. It's supposed to be about the things I know that work to help heal, the way I've worked through my own trauma and helped heal others. I want to give you the tools to heal yourself. That's the whole point of this channel. And I've been diverted a little bit with this series. I'm going to be putting out videos that really have nothing to do with Teal Swan and only have to do with helping people, because that's really why I am here. So I hope you guys will join me on that journey and have a great week. Find some happiness and joy this week. Yeah.